and now we're focusing a little more on the higher level certifications as much as we can. So she's doing a tremendous job, and you can introduce yourself.
Good morning, Sandy Anderson. My background, I have no law enforcement background. My background is mostly in IT and IT management. I really enjoyed learning, something new. So I really enjoy being here. And outside of work, I'm an outdoors person, and we have a cabin, and we spend a lot of time on the water or in the dirt, basically.
Perfect fit for here. Welcome, Sandy. Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Any discussion on, moving to the next one on the minutes, any discussion on the minutes? If not, I would entertain a motion to approve the minutes from our last meeting.
Mr. Chair, I have reviewed the minutes and I move to approve post-council meeting minutes from December 4th, 2025.
We have a first, do we have a second? Second. Second by Mr. Nye. Any further discussion? Okay, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion passes. To the next assignments, it looks like we move to Sheriff Gardner. Give us our update on the hearing board.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The hearing board met March 4th, 2026. Actually, it was 4th. I apologize, I'm getting my dates mixed up. So the first action item we discussed on Tyrell Lowe, and we denied his request to waive his agreement of service. Post has reached out to him for over a year to finalize the required documentation. He's failed to do so, so we moved to deny that. The rest of the action items for time extensions, we had discussion on those. They all seem to be in order, and we recommend that council approves them. And that's answer any questions. If you have a question, especially on the denial on the waiver agreement, if anybody has any.
Are there any questions for the sheriff? No? Okay. So I would entertain a motion to adopt the recommendations of the hearing board.
So moved.
Okay. We have a
Second.
motion and a second. Any further discussion? Okay. Hearing none. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Motion passes. Let's see.
Mr. Chairman, we also need to approve the meeting minutes from the hearing board.
Oh, yes, thank you. Thank you. I would entertain that motion as well.
So
Okay.
Second.
Go second by Ms. Dowell. Yeah, she got it. Okay, any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Okay. Next item on the agenda, let's turn it over to Ms. Dowell for the training subcommittee.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So the training subcommittee met on February 12th of 2026. We discussed a few things and took action. So the first were some proposed changes to jail detention and adult detention and jail standards. So there was a motion to approve those changes as presented. Next were proposed changes to patrol crash investigation and homeland security. We also motioned to approve those updates as presented. And then the Department of Corrections proposed changes to their corrections curriculum, which was a complete rewrite of that. And we also moved to adopt those as well. So those were the three action items that we had on our agenda for that meeting. And then we also had a couple discussion items, one which was PREA and best current practices, and then best ways to implement PREA into the curriculum, taking into account some changes related to the fact that the jails aren't federally PREA compliant, but juvenile corrections and adult corrections are. And then we also discussed 16-week patrol academy presentation and some feedback that was received from the Sheriff's Association. And that was the extent of our meeting, Mr. Chair.
Okay. Any questions from Ms. Dowell?
Maybe just one. What was the feedback from the sheriffs?
Well, it's a great question, Jan, and I was really hoping that our chair was here to talk about that. So they're talking about a condensed schedule. Brad can talk about it a little bit more, but they're talking about a condensed schedule. Brad, do you wanna assist here?
So what we're looking at is, and it provides a variety of benefits, not the least of which is being able to adopt the additional curriculum that we need to as a result of the job task analysis and input from the field, is moving from a 14 to a 16-week patrol academy and offering it twice a year and with increased enrollment. So it'd be a max of 50 students twice a year for 16 weeks. About the same attendance as what we're doing right now with, because even though we could technically train in 3 academies at 40, 120, we're averaging about 104, 105 pretty regularly. So being at 2 at 50 for 100, I think would meet demand. And it's going to be, it's going to afford us more flexibility. And also not having to run academies concurrently like we are now. So the feedback was mixed. I think the feedback that was provided specifically was the negative only, just so that we could see concerns, but there was also a significant amount of positive support for the idea as well.
Thank you.
What were the negatives, just out of curiosity?
I think primarily it was just comments, and so and some of them we had trouble substantiating. So it ran from I don't want to be without my guy for another 2 weeks. 14 weeks is long enough, and it's too much. It's understandable. To well, my guys are telling me that there's a lot of downtime, and so it's just wasted time anyway. So why do you want to add 2 more weeks? I haven't seen any evidence of that at all. There's not downtime during the academy, but students come back with their own opinions and third-hand information, so that happens, and that's fine. But we need to continue to get that input before we bring the formal proposal to the council for adoption, so that we make sure that if there's substantial pushback from that, then we might have to pivot, but haven't seen that yet. So we're pretty excited about potentially doing this in 2027, but we'll see how it goes, and when we're ready, we'll bring it to council for approval.
Mr. Chairman, please. Yeah, sure. Brad, was there any feedback from ICOPA?
They are submitting their feedback to me on the 16th.
Okay. Thank you.
Any other questions for Mr. Johnson or for Ms. Dow?
Please, Mr. Johnson.
Phone a friend.
Yeah.
Okay, hearing none, I would entertain a vote to approve the meeting minutes for the training subcommittee.
So moved.
Okay, we have a first,
Second.
second, Ms. Derrick. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay, I would now ask or seek a motion to adopt the recommendations of the training subcommittee.
So moved.
Okay, so moved.
Second.
We have a first, we have a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay, next item we have is Ms. Hicks. And Lori, we understand we're going to be working remote here, and is this potentially your last post council meeting?
Yes, it is.
I will give the floor to you.
Okay, so Mr. Chairman and post council members, for this budget review, we'll first be looking at where we were as of the end of January, and from there we will take a look at how things are looking for the remainder of the fiscal year. And I think Dustin's getting me some visuals up here on screen, so I'll give him just, there it is, okay. So you also have these documents in your materials. The first page is a table that summarizes our cash balances through January 31st. The main post-dedicated fund and the misdemeanor probation training fund, which we refer to as the MPO fund, are displayed there in separate columns. MPO fund is supported by revenues that are provided from a portion of the cost of misdemeanor supervision fees. And by statute, those revenues can only be spent specifically for the training and certification of misdemeanor probation officers, so we account for them separately. Focusing on that left-hand column in the post-main fund, we began fiscal 26 with a cash balance of $665,760, with 10,281 encumbered. So far, we've booked 2.8 million in revenue, but keep in mind that the amounts shown for everything other than the fines and fees and the liquor distributions are for amounts that we have invoiced and not actual cash collected. So that's particularly relevant with those 2 agreements. We billed $144,000, but that is not cash in the door. Total fine and fee revenue isolated from the rest of it is for so far this fiscal year totals $2 million roughly, and the distributions from the liquor fund are $460,600. $114,800 of that was in the final distribution for the liquor fund revenues from fiscal 25 after they got their actual revenues all tallied up and trued up all their distributions for the year. That liquor fund revenue is down and is projected to be down again a little bit next year. In the right-hand column, the MPO fund started the year with $502,800. We've received $36,900 in revenue and spent $45,300 for an ending cash balance of almost $500,000. On page 2, there are several graphs kind of breaking out a more granular level of the fine and fee revenue. And we've been over these a lot of times, and so I won't belabor going through each one of them individually. But overall, what's the takeaway here is that fine and fee revenue is very close to the prior year. After we saw an uptick in the end of fiscal 24 and the beginning of fiscal 25, it's kind of leveled out. And so I anticipate revenues to remain steady through the end of the fiscal year. So if we could just bounce forward now to the 3rd page with the next table past those graphs, Dustin, please. Next one. We'll just kind of skip these because I don't think we need to talk about them. Right there. So this is the 3rd page in your materials, and this table looks just like the table on the 1st page, with the exception that this is projected out through the end of this fiscal year. So, and it's a projected balance for cash. This isn't appropriation, this isn't spending authority, this is just our cash balance. In the right-hand column, the MPO fund is there showing that beginning fiscal year balance of $502,800 and an ending cash balance of $509,000, so that fund is in really good shape. Looking at the post main fund in the left column, again starting the year with that $665,000, we anticipate adding $4.78 million in revenue and spending close to $5 million for expenditures. And that'll leave us with an ending cash balance of $396,780. So the good news is that we are getting really close to that $500,000 year-end target for our cash balance. The bad news, of course, is still there's that gap between revenue and expenses, and that's about $200,000 this year. Meaning we'll spend $200,000 more than the revenues come in. That number isn't horrible. It's certainly been worse in prior years. But the concern, of course, is just sustaining the budget as expenses consistently outpace revenues over time and depleting cash. Now, all that said, I think cash-wise, we're in pretty good shape compared to prior years. So next slide, please, Dustin. So this table shows our appropriation. So this is the spending authority that was granted by the legislature. And as you can see here, we had a total appropriation of $5,621,881. And the bottom part of this table shows the amounts that we're going to revert. So the bottom is the appropriation minus our anticipated expenditures. And you can see that's $309,000 in personnel, $337,000 in operating, and then we'll move a little bit out of operating to cover that negative in the capital category. So the important takeaway here is that we are going to probably revert about $624,000. That's appropriation we can't use. Our cash revenues don't support it. If we were to spend our entire appropriation, we would run our cash in the negative. So ideally, of course, we would like to have enough revenue to support our entire appropriation so that we could continue to deliver services without consistently looking for ways to cut spending without terribly impacting services. So that's where we have to plan and watch and put this thing together for the future. A year ago in March 2025, I told you that if revenues continue to hold up and we remain cautious with our spending, we would be able to get through FY '26 without requiring additional infusions of cash. And as it turns out, that's exactly how things have gone. And the good news, again, is I think that we're looking at a very similar scenario going into fiscal '27. So, Mr. Chairman, that concludes my prepared remarks. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions for Lori?
Mr. Chair, I just want to thank her. I didn't realize it was her last day, so we're gonna miss you. You've done an amazing job.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, I echo that sentiment, and I don't want to get ahead of Brad, because I know Brad probably has some things that he wants to say, but just on a professional level, thank you so much for all that your work that you've done. You know, if you don't know, Lori used to be over at ISP, and then she made her way over to Post, and every place she's gone, she's done a phenomenal job. She's always been viewed as that excellent employee, so good luck to you in your future endeavors.
Thank you. And thank you to this council for the support, to Post for the support. It's been an amazing place to work.
Okay, with that, next agenda item, we would move to Mr. Johnson.
Thank you, sir. So on the heels of that, I do want to address Lori's departure. I was planning on doing that. Stole my thunder.
You're the chair.
But that's okay. You're the chair. That's right. Your prerogative. Lori, if I'm not mistaken, has been with ISP for 18 years. And the majority of that with Post. She was here when I got here. I immediately leaned on her heavily to learn about Post budget process, spending practices, and internal controls, and quickly determined that there was little oversight that I needed to provide at all. She manages it more strictly than even I would, which has been fantastic, because whenever we need to bounce something off, you know, what we want to spend, and whether we can afford it, or whether it's a nice to have, or whether we need to program it for a future year, she always does that very conservatively against the rest of us, not in an adversarial manner, but in a very effective advisory manner, which has been simply amazing. I cannot express how much I've relied on her during my tenure, and the expertise that she has provided to Post, and to you as a council, as you've all experienced since you've been here. So for us, it's a tremendous loss. On the other hand, for Lori, it's an incredible opportunity. She's now able to move back home, spend time with family in a position that is fantastic with Madison County for her. So it's a great win for her. So we really appreciate everything that she's done for us and provided to us in the time that she's been here, and we're all about to shed a tear. But on the other hand, couldn't be more excited for you, and just want to thank you for everything.
Thank you. I appreciate all those kind words very much.
Just a couple of other things, and then I think we'll probably be wrapping up pretty quick. So if you haven't seen them, I would highly recommend that you take a look on our Facebook page. On ISP's been sharing them to their social media. Some of us that are on LinkedIn have been sharing them to our LinkedIn accounts, so they're out there too. But in collaboration with ISP's PIO and Dustin, of course, our media manager, we've been producing a series of Did You Know videos. They're just short, like 30-second spots. Each one highlights a different aspect of our mission, which, as you know, is varied. We have our hands in a lot of different pots. And so it's just kind of meant to let people know throughout the state, hey, these are a lot of the different things that we do that you probably didn't know. So that they all start off with a staff member, and we've been going through the staff one at a time, presenting some information on what their particular unit or their position does within the Post mission. And I think they've been great. And so encourage you to look for those and watch them and share them as much as possible. We want to get the word out to the citizens, to the legislature, to everybody that might have an interest, that, there's a lot of things that we do, that are crucial to law enforcement in this state. So, please do that. Our post-budget setting along with ISP is tomorrow morning from the JFAC. So we're very excited to get that done and move on into the next fiscal year. And one more item of interest, as we've talked about before, and Lori has mentioned, we've mentioned, and we've talked about in this forum, when driver license suspensions went away from that bill years ago that was passed for failure to pay fines, our revenue went down, and others. You know, it's not, we get a piece of it, we don't get all of that. So there are a number of organizations whose revenues have decreased because there's no enforcement for failure to pay fine revenue. There is a bill now, it got printed, hasn't had a hearing before committee yet, but it's out there waiting, House Bill 791, which would reinstate that driver license suspension for failure to pay fine on traffic infractions. So that needs support. I think it has support, certainly from within law enforcement, because we've been pushing for that for a long time. It's actually a transportation bill, which makes sense because it was a transportation bill that got rid of it years ago. So I just want to get that on everybody's radar and look to support that in any way that you and your associations can.
The hearing's tomorrow, remember, right?
Oh, it is? Okay.
I think so, yeah.
And with that, I just want to say, moving into the next fiscal year, there's been a lot of uncertainty in our mission and the future of our mission and the future of basic training and where that's headed. Colonel's going to address that in a minute, but I just want to say that in spite of all that noise, all that uncertainty, all of those concerns, the post staff carries on in a committed and professional manner that should make you very proud. And they continue to work their tails off, trying to meet our mission within the resources that we have and under the uncertainty that we've had over the last year or two. So I'm just exceptionally proud of them and having the opportunity to work with them is a great sense of pride for me. So thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Brad. Just a couple things before I close. Chief, welcome. I know this is your first meeting, and like the whole circle of life thing that takes place, we appreciate your willingness to serve on the post council. And with that, Chief Croft, this is your last meeting, right? So thank you for your work and your insights, and good luck to you in your retirement. He told me that his retirement party will be on 4/20. That was, I guess, intentional, I guess, by your investigations division. Yes. All right. So it's easy to remember the date if you're interested. Thank you so much for all of your work and good luck to you in the future. And then Mr. Johnson asked that I just kind of talk real quick about those discussions. As many of you know, Representative Raybould asked that we put some information together with her goal to try to fulfill the needs of specifically the Patrol Academy outside of the Meridian area, utilizing the college programs. She scheduled a meeting with me. We gave her the work groups product that Chief Pastor Chea put together. She had all that information. She then asked for another meeting. We sat down with her, and she had a specific list of items that we need to get from Post. And her requests were information from Post, and then she was also going to meet with the colleges, the community colleges, and try to identify their information. Could they even absorb it and all of those things. We've met with her. We've given her all the information. We met with Brad and his team. We gathered everything. Lori did a fantastic job in putting all that stuff together. So I believe we've given her everything that she needs to try to make a decision from Post perspective. From what I understand, she's now reaching out to the community colleges trying to gather that. I have no more information other than I think some of her frustration that she expressed to us was that the the talking points are wrong in the sense that some people have called her saying, hey, you're trying to get rid of the patrol academy, at Post. And she's made it very clear, I'm not trying to get rid of the patrol academy at Post, I'm trying to expand it. That might mean removing some of the patrol academy from Post, but there still needs to be a Post academy, or a patrol academy that happens here for those that don't have, dormitories and any kind of lodging options. So, that was the only frustration since I've met with her that she's talked about, and that she wanted to clear the record on, was that there would still be a patrol academy here. It's just that it would be expanded to the community colleges. But as far as any write-up of a bill of any kind, I've seen nothing. I haven't heard any conversations with her since then, so that's kind of the update on that. Did anybody have anything else for the group as a whole?
Can I make an announcement, Matt, off the record,
Please.
Oh,
Off the record?
well, whatever, however you want to do it. It has nothing to do with those.
Oh, go for it. Yeah, go for it. Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
So we just funded for a new task force. It's a crimes against children task force. It's going to be federally funded. Kind of the thought process on this was, speaking to our local partners, speaking with ICAC, mainly, there's a stack of CSAM related cases throughout this area that most people cannot get to. It kind of gets pushed off to ICAC. They're absolutely slammed. We get a lot of tips in on our side as well. So from all that, we decided, hey, let's see if we can get a funded task force, which they have funded. So right now we're funded for 4 slots. I think we're probably going to be able to get that to about 6. Unfortunately, we can't pay the salary that ICAC does, where they will actually pay for your person to be there. However, we can give a car. We can also pay overtime. So, our thought with this is, obviously, we're not stepping on ICAC's toes or any other agencies. This is strictly to work together to try to assist ICAC on some of their cases that they don't have enough people for. So, I'm excited about it. I think it could be a good deal for our community. It's, obviously our goal will be to work directly with the state prosecutors along with federal prosecutors to make sure that, we can charge what we can charge. So, if you have any interest in joining this task force, please let me know. If you know any other agencies that may be interested, also please let me know. We've divided kind of mid-state, so we're going to go kind of all the way to Lewiston, and then Lewiston's going to go up from there. So we have 2 agencies up north, it sounds like, who are interested, and then we're going to work on the ones down here, kind of go on a recruiting trip. So if you're interested, please let me know. It's going to be called the Gem State Crimes Against Children Task Force, by the way.
Is there a catchy acronym?
We're not there yet.
No, you'll find it.
Yeah.
You'll find more.
We're working on a logo.
Baby steps, right?
Absolutely.
Yes. Okay. All right, thanks, Chris. Anybody have anything else? Hearing none, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Okay. Any other discussion? Okay, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Hearing none, we are adjourned.